Hello and welcome back to my channel, Yoga with Judy. I am Judy, and today we are going to be practicing a restorative yoga sequence. So get into something comfortable, grab a blanket, a pillow, blocks, or a book if you have it, and meet me back on the mat. Today's class is all about slowing down. It's a restorative yoga practice. So we'll be opening up our bodies through passive stretching. And today's class I'm calling Slowing It Down Sunday. So knowing you can practice this on any given day. Just Sunday seems to be like a good as day for rest as any day. So what is restorative yoga? So by definition, it's a restful practice where we hold our poses using props like yoga blocks, blankets, and bolsters to practice deep relaxation, which emphasizes the meditative aspect of yoga. So the union of the body and the mind. So when the body enters a state of relaxation, the mind can also consciously relax. As tension is released from both the body and the mind, the only work that's really required on your part during the restorative yoga practice is to pay attention to your breath and become aware of any sensations or thoughts that may arise. It's a practice that's suitable for all levels. So during a typical vinyasa class, for instance, you move quickly from one pose to the other, and you are building heat and increasing strength and flexibility over time. While these energetic styles of yoga focus on muscular engagement, restorative yoga relaxes the muscles by using props to support the body. So restorative yoga would be a welcome complement for any such vinyasa style workouts, or a gentle balance to our busy, regular today's lives. So these classes are typically mellow and low energy, so making them an excellent antidote to stress. Stillness is a powerful practice. So what are some benefits of restorative yoga? Better mood, increased relaxation, better sleep, improved overall well-being, and it's gentle on the body. So if we're ready to start, we'll just come into an easy seat. We'll do some breathing practices just to ground ourselves down, just for the beginning to get ready for our practice. So bring our hands onto the knees. Thank you, Hank. And sitting up nice and tall, so knowing you can sit on a blanket, a pillow, a chair, just lengthening the spine here. And just closing the eyes down. And take a nice deep inhale breath through the nose. And open mouth exhale, release the breath. We'll do that again. Inhale. And exhale, open, releasing your day, letting go of your day. We'll do that again. Inhale and exhale, letting go of any tension, any anxiety, just letting it go. So now we'll close the lips and begin to breathe in and out through the nasal passages. Maybe notice on the inhale, follow the breath. Follow it down into the belly. And follow it as you get ready to exhale. So watching it come into the body and slowly watching it release. Looking for a nice smooth transition between the inhales and the exhales. And maybe starting to lengthen out the breath here. Becoming aware and bringing your focus inwards. So we're calming the mind. We're starting to bring focus to the mind. And slowly starting to bat the eyes open. Get a nice deep breath in and release, letting the shoulders melt down. And before we start our first pose, we'll just bring our hands over to the right, just doing a gentle stretch to the right side body. And slowly coming over to the left, just gentle twist, just to get a little bit of movement into the body before we settle in for our stretching poses. So bringing your hands back onto the knees, and just start to roll onto the hips, doing some gentle circles with the upper torso. Maybe bringing your rib cage into the movement, maybe exaggerating as much or as little as you'd like. And pausing at the center and slowly going the opposite direction. And coming back to stillness, we will set up for our first pose. Mr. Hank, you're going to have to move over. You're going to have to move over. So our first pose is a bound ankle pose. So we're going to grab our blocks or a book. And I like to place it, if you have two, place one on the high level and the second one on the medium level, and just bring your bolster to rest like a ramp. So with your blanket, we can slowly roll it roll it nice and tight. I think you're not helping. Move over. Rolling it nice and tight. No, you can't sit on the blanket today. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. So we're rolling the blanket up nice and tight. And we're going to come to sit, bring our hips in front of the bolster. And, excuse me, Hank, bringing the soles of the feet to touch so our legs are in a diamond. And grabbing our blanket here. And kind of molding the blanket around the back of the thighs towards the hips. So the soles of the feet are together, the knees can open wide, and the thighs can rest on the blanket. So we'll slowly walk our hands back and bring our back body down onto the bolster, relaxing the legs. So if having your legs in a diamond shape is not working for you today, you can always go and extend one leg and then the other long. You can maybe bring that rolled blanket underneath the knees. Whatever feels good in your body today. So we're just going to melt down. Maybe let the palms of the hands face the sky. We're opening up the chest and the heart. So opening up the chest will enable us to take some deeper breaths. So we're relaxing the jaw, the eyes are closed. We're settled in here. And we'll be here for about 3 minutes. And gently bring in the hands and the forearms beside the body. Just bringing the chin towards the chest, starting to lift ourselves up. Bringing our hands on either side of our thighs and closing our legs like a book. Removing our prop. And just bringing our chin to our chest and bringing our forehead down towards our knees. Just a small transition here, just relaxing out that back body. And slowly lifting up. We'll get ready for our second pose. Asana, or child's pose with a twist. So just moving the blocks off to the side. Placing our bolster back on the mat. And maybe we bring the blanket to the top part of the bolster. And just bringing our right hip beside the bolster. And our legs bent. And on the inhale, we'll grow tall and lengthen. And on the exhale, walk our hands to the top of the mat. And we're going to twist and bring our left cheek down to the blanket. So we'll be facing the right side of the mat. So if this is too much of a stretch for you, you can just relax your head down on the right cheek. You can build your bolster up to have your head a little bit taller. You can just play with this until you get the props exactly the right fit for your body today. So settling in. And we will be here for about 2 minutes. And slowly lifting the head up, bringing the gaze down, and gently bringing your hands back to the mat and walking your hands back beside your bolster or pillow, and just coming upright to a seat. And just taking a nice inhale breath here and release. We'll do that again. Inhale and exhale. And we'll get ready to come over to the other side. I'm going to keep my props just as they are and just spin my body around. So we'll bring my left hip right beside the bolster here. And inhale to lengthen. And we will start to come forward over the bolster and gently twist, bringing the right side of the face down to the mat or down to the bolster. Another nice option would be to take a block and place it between the knees. So many variations. This pose will look different in everybody's body, depending on the day, depending how you're feeling, depending on how many props you would like to use for that day. And gently lifting the head up, bringing the gaze back down towards the blanket or your props. Bringing your hands to the mat and starting to walk yourself up. Coming onto your sit bones. And gently bringing the chin towards the chest. Bringing your forehead to your knees. And just gently bringing your hands around, clasping opposite elbows or clasping your shins. And just relaxing into that back body. And slowly lifting the head up, bringing the hands behind the hips and starting to just do a gentle windshield wiper motion with the legs. Just loosening up the hips. And coming back onto our sit bones and setting up for our next pose, our wide-legged forward fold. So bringing our blocks in between the legs are extended out nice and wide like a V. And bringing the bolster, setting the bolster up on the blocks. Just making a nice ramp for the head. And bringing our blanket just across the top of the bolster. And we'll inhale to lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, walk the hands forward. Bringing our upper body onto the bolster and bringing our right cheek onto the bolster. So just supporting ourselves here. Maybe we need to bring another block, maybe a second bolster, just enough to have the upper body grounded down. And just let the feet relax the legs. Maybe you bring a couple blocks or a rolled blanket underneath the knees. It's releasing that back body. And if the right cheek is on the bolster, gently lifting the head up and twisting and bringing the opposite cheek onto the bolster. And slowly pressing into the hands, bringing the forehead back forward and walking the hands, bringing the upper body upwards to the head, over the heart, and just sliding the props off to the side. And bringing the knees in towards the chest. And bringing the hands around the shins and just lift up and lengthen. Bringing the face towards the sky, relaxing the shoulders down. And coming back to stillness, just coming into an easy seat. And we'll just do a side twist over to the right and over to the left. And setting up for our supported bridge. So bringing the soles onto the feet. So the feet are hip distance apart. So the knees are in line, the knees are facing the sky. And we'll slowly start to roll the back body down. And just walk the feet in towards the hip bones. You should be able to feel your heels with your fingers. So the knees still facing the sky. And on the inhale, pressing into the feet, keeping the knees in line, start to lift the hips, coming into our bridge pose, gently pressing against the hands, engaging the glutes, bringing the chest towards the chin towards the sky. And staying here just for a breath. And then slowly lowering down one vertebrae at a time. And when the tailbone touches down, press into the feet and lift up. This time we'll grab one of our blocks, either on the first or the second level, and just placing it underneath the sacrum, so that triangle bony piece at the base of the spine. And releasing the arms to the side body. Releasing the body onto your block. Taking a nice breath here. Maybe you go ahead and extend one leg, maybe the other. If this is too much of a stretch for you, you can bring the soles of the feet back to the mat. You can press into the feet and you can lower the block, or you can keep the legs bent. And maybe you reach the arms overhead and clasp opposite elbows. Just opening up the front body here. If you didn't want to use a block for your prop, you could always use a pillow or a bolster. So relaxing the weight of the head onto the mat. So we're opening up our heart here, letting the love in. And gently bringing the arms back down to the side body. And bringing the soles of the feet back to the mat, the knees to the ceiling. And lifting the hips up and slowly removing that block and lowering down like you're setting a string of pearls down, lowering one vertebrae at a time. And when the tailbone touches down, just gently hugging the knees in towards the chest. Maybe rocking from side to side. And coming back to stillness, bringing the knees to the side and slowly coming up to a seat. Now, if you have some wall space, just bringing the short edge of the mat against the wall and bringing a blanket just to lay at the top of the mat. And we're going to come into legs up the wall. So just shimmying our hips. So our right hip is right up against the wall. And we're going to bring our hands back and we're going to just kind of lean back and twist our back body onto the mat and extend our legs long up the mat. Now, if we find that we have a bit too much space or a bit, a couple inches, few inches between the back body and the wall, we can just walk and shimmy ourselves right up towards the wall. So once we get here, this should feel quite lovely, a nice inversion pose. We can shut the eyes down and just enjoy this inversion. Getting the blood and the lymph moving the opposite direction. This is a beautiful pose to do maybe 20 minutes before you're ready to go to bed. Nice relaxing, calming the mind. If you have an extra blanket, you can place that as a rest underneath the head. Still breathing. Remembering always to come back to the breath, the inhales and the exhales. And gently batting the eyes open, bringing the soles of the feet, sliding them down the mat. And just bringing the knees into touch just for a moment. Then rolling over to a fetal pose. So our knees are on the mat. And just using our top hand to gently press us up off the mat. And we will now set up for our final pose, our Savasana pose. So we can come down onto our seat. Can bring a bolster, pillow, or blocks underneath the backs of the knees. Can bring your blanket opening up nice and long. You can tuck the blanket in around the body and just slowly lower down onto the mat, lifting the blanket up, letting the arms rest to the side body, the palms are up, and just letting everything go, relaxing that muscle between the brows, relaxing the cheeks, and parting the teeth, letting the tongue fall. And lifting the shoulders up and letting the shoulder blades fall nice and flat beneath. Letting the elbows, wrists, and fingers relax. Feeling the back body melt down into the mat. Letting the hips feel heavy. Releasing the knees, the ankles, and the toes. And just giving yourself permission here to be still. So feel free to stay exactly where you are. You can stay in this pose for 10, 20, 30 minutes, whatever your body is craving for today. For our super soulful Sunday restorative practice. Maybe scanning, seeing how you feel, noticing the calmness of the mind. From here, I will end the practice, knowing you can stay, but bringing the palms to touch and bringing the knuckles of the thumb to the forehead. Breathing here and exhale, namaste. Thank you again for joining me for this Sunday soulful restorative yoga practice. I hope you're feeling beautifully on the inside as well on the outside. You're finding yourself feeling calm and grounded. So until next time, we'll meet you again on the mat. Bye for now. Have a beautiful rest of your day.